The first thing you'll notice when you begin flight training for your instructor certificate is the seating arrangement. Your instructor occupies the left seat, and you will transition to the right seat. This is necessary because beginning student pilots start out in the left seat, so you'll need to be proficient from the right seat. During the transition, you'll notice some negative transfer from the well-ingrained habits formed from your earlier training. When starting the engine and performing the pre-takeoff check, you'll notice that the airplane was not designed for easy operation from the right seat. All of the flight instruments, most of the operating switches, and in some cases the engine instruments are located on the left side of the airplane. In addition, the power controls require use of the left hand. These differences require the gradual formation of new habit patterns. Typically, you'll have a tendency to take off on the left side of the runway, since previous experience has reinforced the idea that the white line belongs slightly to the right of the pilot's normal position. On initial attempts, it's not unusual to have the left wheel on the edge of the runway before achieving liftoff. Your instructor will provide timely guidance as the transition progresses. After initial orientation, the task of attaining private and commercial pilot proficiency from the right seat is assigned. This means that the entire range of maneuvers and procedures, including basic instrument flight, must be performed to private or commercial practical test standards, PTS. Even if your proficiency level is high, this normally requires 3 to 5 hours of instruction and additional solo practice. Crosswind and specialty takeoffs and landings require the greatest effort and concentration. These procedures tend to accentuate the change in visual perspective between the left and right seats. It's best to proceed cautiously and gradually work up to the performance requirements that are specified in the appropriate PTS. Following the transition period, practice instruction periods will be assigned, and the character of the CFI course should become evident. Your instructor will require you to formulate a lesson plan on a given maneuver or series of maneuvers. During the lesson, the instructor will imitate a typical student pilot whose proficiency level is appropriate to the stage of training assigned. You will be expected to explain the maneuver as the demonstration is performed with your student following through on the controls. Your student will then perform the maneuver while displaying various errors or faults in performance. You are expected to correct the student and criticize performance as the lesson progresses. Lesson assignments for the instructor course become progressively more involved, but they follow this general format. Your instructor will shift roles throughout the practice lessons, first acting as the student pilot, then reverting to the instructor role for a critique of your performance and progress. Through this procedure, you gradually learn to present a specific lesson complete with pre-flight and post-flight briefings. Your instructor will also emphasize the importance of exercising positive exchange of the flight controls as a safety measure. This is designed to reinforce the habits so you, in turn, will teach your students to always follow the procedure. There are many times when you need to exchange control of the airplane with your student. For example, after you demonstrate a maneuver, you need to pass control so that your student can also attempt it. When you do so, the FAA recommends a 3-step procedure to ensure that it is clear who has control of the airplane at all times. First, you should say, "You have the flight controls." You should continue to fly until your student acknowledges the exchange by saying, "I have the flight controls." You should also check visually to establish that your student has taken control of the airplane. Then say, "You have the flight controls."
Okay, you have the flight controls?
Okay, I have the flight controls.
You have the flight controls.
If you should need to assume control of the airplane, take the controls firmly and state, "I have the flight controls," visually checking to verify that your student has released the yoke.
I have the flight controls.
Hey, you have the flight controls?
I have the flight controls.
Remember that communication is key to safe instructional flights.